Bleav, the Phoenix Suns podcast, right here on KSRN. With your host, Earl Burnett, aka Casual E.
Exactly. I'm starting to kind of figure you out a little bit, Flex. Figure you out. But you really believe in this Suns team. You really see something that maybe some of us are not seeing, bro.
And Felix Cruz, Flex from Jersey.
Just feels different. He's the hungriest dog in the race, and that's what I'm saying. That's another dynamic I think people are underestimating. Is that we're gonna go in there with a pack of hungry dogs, and the hungriest dog is leading our team.
Time to talk Suns.
We want to go down there and destroy everyone in our way. Yeah. Welcome into the Bleav the Phoenix Suns podcast right here on KSRN. I am your host, of course, aka Earl Burnett, aka Casual E. And with me today is my man, long time, my casual sports guy, Sean McConnell in the house. What's going on, man?
Man, it's good to be back. Good to have a mic in front of my face, man.
Man. Come on, man.
Yeah, get me in. I'm sitting on the bench now. I'm ready to go.
Well, the guy when you got the guy from the front office come down that's running things, and he in the office, we got it with something, he coming down to check things, looking in the door, trying to see if everything going all right. And we're gonna have my man Flex going to come in, but he's gonna join us via the KSRN hotline in about a few minutes here. So we're going to get this show on the road here because we do have a game 4 of this series about to go down. And I believe this would be the final game of this series because I don't see this Denver Nugget team having anything, even if Jokic goes off of 60, don't have enough to beat this Suns team. So we're going to get into that. So let's find out what's going on around in other parts of the league right now. The Nets and Bucks are tied now at 2-2. When you saw those first 2 games, now you're looking at that series being tied. Do you think that the Bucks coming in, seeing that star power that was on the Nets, kind of got a little intimidated? And then next thing you know, they were like shell shocked, and they're down 2-0, getting blew out the first 2 games.
I mean, a little bit. There's always some of that when you have to go up against that Nets team, especially when they're healthy. But you also go in, and this is a series. All these series are about taking care of business. You win your 2 at home, they win their 2 at home, and then it goes back and forth. I mean, that's the way things are supposed to go through,
Right.
And now that the Nets aren't as healthy, the Bucks are gaining more confidence. They're getting more used to this. And like I said to our good friend Andy Dorff on, we were going back and forth on Facebook for a little bit. The Suns and the Bucks are right now benefiting from some opposing injuries, and that's just kind of is what it is. You can't really plan for it. You can't expect it. It just happens sometimes, and you got to take advantage of it. You got to do your job. You can't just lay down because they're laying down. You have to go ahead and take care of business.
You got to play your game. Do what you do and see what happens. And live with
the Bucks have done.
Yeah. Now, of course, they, like you said, dealing with injuries. Now they have a major injury, of course, to join Harden on the bench. Now, of course, their star guard is probably going to be out the rest of that series. Because did you see his ankle?
Didn't look good.
It looked like an L, man. It was like I was like he pretty much was landing on the dang on bone that was on the side of his ankle. So I don't anticipate him playing in the next game or the rest of that series. So now this is why, Sean, I'm gonna tell you this what I'm saying is, and I know you already know me. This is why I can't stand super teams. Is because those 3 guys, when they came together, they were all the catalyst of their teams before they came. Well, I can say Kevin Durant has done it twice already now, but when he was on OKC, he was the man. He was the guy that everything had to facilitate. He was the facilitator. He was the scorer. He was no matter what, everything went through him. Mm-hmm. When you get a superstar who's another number 1 join your team, now let alone 2, when they join your team, you tend to relax a little bit. And that killer instinct kind of dies down a little bit because you can rely, all the load doesn't have to go on you, and you kind of relax. And KD did that at Golden State. He let Curry and them do their thing, and when they needed that big time shot or whatever, he stepped up, did what he normally does. But now Harden's hurt, and now Kyrie goes down. Now Kevin has to summons that that superstar again.
Yeah.
You can't relax now. Everything has to go through him. And this is why I hate super teams and guys don't be the same players they were when they were on their teams when they were the guy. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, you look at that. To me, the perfect case study is Chris Bosh. He was nowhere near the same player as he was on the Raptors than he was on the Heat. I mean, it turns into pickup ball where you watch what's going on the other side of the court. You're like,
absolutely.
All right, I'll just be here if you're going to pass it to me, and then I'll do something.
And that's not their game. That's not. And tonight, I just saw Durant. His game plan is standing outside, dribbling the ball, then just pass it away. He's resting the whole game.
Yeah.
But basically, they're not putting in any work. And here's another thing about that Nets team. You got 3 of the most fragile superstars in the world on one team. I mean,
4 if you count Griffin.
4, yeah, now you get Griffin in there. He's the main one of all of them. But I mean, Harden, I can say he's been a Iron Man for the last few years. He's just been hurt this year, but he burns out when it gets to playoff time. And so those guys are so fragile. You never know what you're going to get. They could be hurt the rest of this whole, playoffs. You don't know who's going to be on the court. And so I'm like, I don't know. Now that KD has to be the man now in that series now. It's like, okay, so we're going to see him score 40 plus to try to keep up with the Bucks. And plus, the home crowd will help them in that next game. But, man, that series looks like it's going to be a 7 game now that Kyrie's hurt.
Yeah, it got a whole lot more interesting when you were thinking sweep. All of a sudden, a wall just went up, and they just crashed right into that sweep, agenda. And I don't know if KD's gonna be able to do it. If they're gonna rush Harden back early. If Kyrie, I mean, they said structurally, Kyrie, there's nothing wrong with the ankle. The X-rays are already good, but ligament wise, we all know sometimes you roll that ankle, the next morning you can't walk, or the next morning you feel great. You just never know.
Yeah, I can guarantee you that as soon as he takes that shoe off, that sucker gonna blow up and you're done. So
don't ever take the shoe off. You take it home and you put ice around the shoe. You don't take the shoe off.
If he was going to play, he would have came back in that game and played because you tighten that shoestring up a little tighter and keep it on. You don't take the shoe off. As soon as you remove that shoe, that's done with.
Bummer.
So, yeah. Moving on, also the 76ers put their foot down in the Hawks series. Hawks look like they were about to run away with that one. I mean, they had the ball flying all over the place. Trae Young unstoppable, and it's not okay. Embiid said, "Hold on a second. There's a reason why I was the candidate for MVP. Let's slow this thing down, get back to what we do, and get these fools out of here because they have taken over that series literally." Embiid. So and defense tends to do that to teams that are just high fly acts that shoot the ball all over the place. They ain't having happy-go-lucky threes falling all over the damn place. But when a real good defensive team starts to really lock in, like this Suns team, and like probably a few of these teams that are left are defensive teams. The 76ers are one of those teams.
Yeah.
They will lock you down. Doc Rivers is defense first, then everything else follows. They don't even really care about offense. So that 76 started locking them down, and man, they put Ben Simmons on Trae Young, and that was money gone. Series changed, and everything's over with.
Yeah, that kind of surprised me a little bit because you think that maybe Trae could find a way to get around him or to maybe do some more screen rolls or something. But he's a learning experience for the Hawks.
He's having trouble shooting over them trees.
There's a lot of trees, but. With the Hawks, they're still young. This is a good building block for them because I didn't expect them to do what they did to the Knicks like they did it to the Knicks. I mean, I knew there was going to be a good series, but they shut them up real quick. And like they said, it was quiet as what in there.
Yep. And one thing comes from
this series
experience now they got from that's going to be that Hawk team looks scary though. If they get experienced.
I'm thinking it's going to be Hawks and Suns.
Match
up for a while.
That
might be pretty fun.
That could be happening, man, because the Hawks are probably like one star away on that team to help them. And then, and so, I don't know. But that next series, this next series, of course, in the West, the Clippers and which is the one the Suns are really watching, the Clippers and Jazz. The Clippers finally flexed their muscles defensively and did something defensively that could bode well for them going forward in that series, and that's control Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah,
everything else is going to happen. Those guys are going to get those looks, and if they do a better job at closing out on the three, they can take Utah out. But Donovan had to work so hard. I mean, he still put up his points, but he worked hard to get those points. And he's also showing that he may not be physically all healthy too.
Yeah, re-aggravated the ankle.
Hard. Yeah, you have to work that hard. So now that ankle starts to beat up on you a little bit more because you're working so hard to get your shot off. And he's still a baller. But Clippers are like, hey, we might have found something here. They start putting Kawhi on him. They start putting the superstars are stepping up now and say, we got to start shutting this dude down. So that could bode well for the Clippers going forward, man. I don't know.
It's the same approach that the Nuggets are trying with the Suns, putting Gordon on Booker. You put length and size on the opposing star, especially if they're shorter, right? You can't do it to Giannis because Giannis is huge, but you have to try that.
Right.
And sometimes it works. It worked against Trae Young. It's working against Donovan Mitchell as well. So if you got it, do it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Well, we're going to get into that, of course, because that's our show, of course, the Suns here. But I got to do the casualty report because we pretty much already talked about all the injuries. So I guess we don't have to do that as far as the injury and all that stuff. We already talked about the Kyrie Irving injury. We're looking at also Harden already still out in that series. Who else is out? Donovan Mitchell is still playing, but he still doesn't. Now he's starting to not look healthy. Mm-hmm. And then Barton in our series, DJ Dozier is out, and Barton is still playing at a risk of that hamstring popping at any given time. So that's pretty much the injuries, and the injuries are playing a part in this playoffs. A big part in these playoffs that are starting to say teams that are healthy and teams that are conditioning good. And the Suns have always been a very good physical training team type, keeping guys right, getting things going like that. So teams that could keep guys right and manage minutes right and all those type of things are going to be the teams. And then sometimes you just get luck, bad luck just hits you, and that's just how it happens. Sports, that's just how it goes. You come down off a rebound going real hard, or you land on somebody's foot. I mean, that can happen at any given time to any person.
All the time.
But we're going to go ahead and take a break here real quick and get a word from our sponsor real fast. And we're going to get my man, the other half of this podcast, and Flex, going to come in and join us. So y'all stick around. This is the Bleav the Suns podcast right here on KSRM. My man, Sean McConnell's in the house with us. We'll be right back.
Got a big painting project you've been putting off because you don't think you can afford it? Well, it's time to call the team at Customer First Solutions. Customer First is your one-stop shop for all home repairs, from full interior and exterior painting to handyman services, drywall repair, electrical, and plumbing. Customer First has the most competitive prices in the Valley. Your flat rate quote is based on the square footage of your home, and that includes wall repair. All Customer First technicians are licensed, bonded, and fully background checked for your assurance. Call or text Customer First Solutions at 480-877-0255 for your free quote. Customer First Solutions, where our customers and their homes are our first priority.
We gon' get it our way. Just listen to what we say, cause we came to
Stand by.
shut them down. Shut them down. Shut them down. I'm the king of this town. Somebody pass me my crown. Shut them down. Shut them down. Shut them down. I'm the king of this town. Somebody pass me my crown.
Now I'm feeling underrated, unappreciated, hated, underpaid, aggravated.
Welcome back into the Bleav the Phoenix Suns podcast. Earl Burnett, Sean McConnell in the house with us, and of course the other half of the show is on the KSRN hotline. The man himself, Felix Cruz, aka Flex from Jersey. What's going on, Flex? How you doing, man?
What's going on, my guys? What's up, Sean?
Hey, brother, how's it going, man?
What's going on, brothers?
Hey, man, we just getting ready for this game, man. I know you're getting all hyped up to do your thing over there, and I know you're probably working your sources and doing all the things you do over there. So, we want to get your take when we going into this. We finna go into this Phoenix Suns thing. So, before we do that, though, man, guys, I kind of got a little bit of insight both of those locker rooms before the game. I kind of got some insight from both those locker rooms. And here's the Suns locker. Here's the Suns locker room.
Thank you for this game we're about to receive, because we about to get up in them. Thank you for this game we're about to receive, because we about to get up in them.
Oh man.
And then I crossed over into the Denver locker room, and everybody thinks they have nothing but a wind and a prayer in this game. They living on borrowed time and living on what Bon Jovi says on a prayer. And so I went into their locker room. The team prayer is going down.
We ask that you injure some key players on the other team, not so that they get seriously injured, but that they're slowed up, so that we will win this game. Amen.
Oh man.
Man.
We ask that you injure some key players on the other team that we can win this game.
You play too much.
Not
man.
seriously injured, though.
Yeah, don't seriously injure
Not
them, just
seriously.
enough to
Don't
hold them up.
seriously injure them.
I saw that. I was
Hey,
watching that the
man,
other day. I was like, that's perfect for this dang game, man. But
hey, that's what they're doing, man. I mean,
know.
not that literally, but
right.
I mean, listen, man, this the epitome of, bigger, stronger, faster, man.
Exactly.
This Phoenix Suns team is just, I don't know if those are the exact words I should use, but that's kind of what I'm riding with, man. It's just bigger, stronger, faster, man. It just can't match up with this Phoenix Suns team. And
right.
I'm sure you guys probably heard already. They're making some changes to that starting line. They're going to have Monte Morris in there and Will Barton. Something I thought they should have did way earlier. I just never thought Compazzo and Austin Rivers was going to work. So
yeah, that wore
might
out.
be a little too late on that one, though, man.
Yeah.
Down 3-0, you asked them to do a lot. So
yeah, they waited. That's a perfect point there. They waited way too late, thinking that. How can you think that backcourt was going to match up to a superstar backcourt? I mean, come on now. That was a little bit, to me, that was a little bit disrespectful. But let's talk about this Nugget team for a second. I mean, Michael Moore has been very, very critical of his team, and to a man, I'm telling you, man, they may have quit. Like he said, in game 1 they were soft. Game 2 they quit. Game 3 they probably also quit twice because they probably just quit on him as a coach. Because when you call a man out and call a man soft and call a man that he's a quitter, those are like betrayal words, especially when you do it publicly. That's stuff you leave inside your locker room. You leave that inside your locker room and come to a man and say, hey, look, team, we're playing like punks. And then you man up together in your locker room. You don't take that crap out publicly. And I think they turned on him because he betrayed them, going public, calling them soft and quitting. And so they're like, what the hell? Why we got to play for this dude? He don't believe in us anyway. That's what they look like on the court, man. I don't know. What do you think, Sean?
Go ahead, Sean. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, to me, they we'll find out today if they really, really quit, because they might try to get this guy out of here today if that's the case. They might be doing the like we always used to talk about Pat P always, dapping up during the game. They might be dapping up the Suns during the game, being like, hey, man, good luck in the next round. I appreciate you, man. Hey, think about me in free agency, man. I'm going to come over there. They might be doing that.
That's true. Flex.
Hey, I'm going to tell you something. Listen, I got some I actually got some really good info on this, bro.
Oh, okay.
Directly from people within the Denver Nugget team, bro. Like, listen, let me tell you something. First of all, Mike Malone, he was wrong for doing it, but let me just give you a little bit of the backside of this. See, I think where he went wrong was he needed to just call out who he wanted to call out.
Exactly.
And that's what I was told from a connection in Denver, that Mike Malone was speaking to 2 or 3 people. And those 2 or 3 people knew who he was speaking to.
Right.
But rather than throw their names out in the mud, he put the whole team into it. All right,
that's still the wrong tactic,
Mike Malone's got a problem with 2 or 3 Nuggets, and I'll disclose this with you. One of them is named Michael Porter.
Knew it.
Let me just make that very clear. Make
there
that
it is.
clear. I won't say nothing more, but I'll tell you that 99% of what Mike Malone was saying was geared towards Michael Porter. He's just not. Listen, that's just some stuff going on there, man, and it's been going on for a long time. It's not new.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised it's blowing up, bro. It's blowing up. And I expect Phoenix. I just got off the phone with these guys about 2 hours ago. I've been running around all day, airport stuff. But I just got off the phone with some of my contacts in the Suns, man. Let me tell you something. They ready to go. Okay. They ready to go. That team is ready to go. The coaching staff is ready to go. They know the importance of this game. They know why you finishing 4. They don't want no reason to play a 5th game. I just got some other news that maybe you guys don't know about, but the Suns were notified that the earliest they'll play a game is Sunday of next week, Father's Day.
Oh,
That is
okay.
the earliest. If they finish the sweep tonight, the earliest they'll play is Sunday. And depending on that Utah Clippers series, it can increase into Tuesday or Wednesday.
Right.
So you're talking about potentially 7 to 10 days rest if they close this out tonight. And so they have all the motivation to do it. They're getting that team playing ready to come back and be some happy dudes after this game. So we just got to get it done, man. Just got to get it done.
Since you on that subject, Flex, Sean and I have been talking about that a little bit off air, and he makes a great point, and he says that he's hoping that series can end quicker over there at Utah and Clippers, because he would not want the Suns to be off that long and lose that connection that they have going right now as far as the chemistry and the they just have the juice flowing right now. You don't want to lose that. And sometimes being off for that period of time, you got to work hard to get that back. And so I'm thinking, if they go that week and a half off almost, now you got to come back and struggle a half of a game, or maybe lose game one trying to get that continuity back. Do you think that's a problem?
Yeah. No, listen, man, I wish y'all was a fly on the wall for the conversation I had a couple hours ago.
We do too, bro.
What we're talking about. And this is from people within the team, man. And, there's a couple theories. So there are people that are a little bit wary of that long of a rest. Okay, I can't lie. But there are people that say, "Hey, man, Chris Paul needs it." Hey, Cam Johnson's really dealing with a wrist issue.
Okay,
so he needs a week of not worrying about shooting. Book is playing heavy minutes. Book can use a week of rest.
Ayton playing
and then
heavy
there's a theory. I'm gonna tell you what someone from the team told me today. What goes up must come down. And so their theory is, we want to stay hot, we want to stay in the groove. But how long can you actually stay in that group?
Right.
Like how long? We're on a 7-game win streak. We win tonight. How long can you expect to stay that high before you hit a bump? So if you're gonna have that bump, it might as well take a week off with it. You know what I mean? You're due to have one of these games statistically that's just not going to work out for you. At least that's how it's supposed to go. But this Phoenix Sun team likes to break records and do things that we've never seen. So I think there's two arguments to be made. There are people that are a little worried, like Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder's on fire. There are people that are worried that, taking Jay out right now, giving him a week off might hurt things. But there are also people that watch what happened to Kyrie Irving today.
Right.
And they're saying, hey, we'd rather be home not playing and everyone getting healthy instead of playing games that don't mean anything and someone getting hurt. That's the theory behind it. I think that's where it all ends right there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I hear you, man. Those are good points, man. And so are we a little premature just already counting Denver out in this one? I mean, is it really that far cut and dried? I mean, just give me a scenario how the Suns could lose this game tonight. I mean, it have to be really just the big Q word, quit. I mean, what other way they could actually lose this game?
I think if the Suns lose this game, it's because they get complacent. They shoot all the threes and just expect to light it up and blow them out.
Yeah,
if they just stay put and keep driving to the hole, it's a wash. They'll just go right home.
Right.
But if they keep shooting threes, and they're not falling, because they might fall, but if they're not falling, then that's just how it happens.
It's that simple.
Right.
I got I got to give you. We got comments going, of course, because this is part of the show, and we got my man Troy says, "What's up with the Trailer Park Podcast?"
Hey man,
coming in showing the guns coming in.
Hey, Sweet Home Alabama.
Sweet Home.
Sean got the guns out. Sean got the guns out.
We live in Arizona. It's 115 degrees outside. I don't need no sleeves on. It's 115. Sunday fun day. Come on, Troy. Get with it.
That's funny.
Get with it, man.
Yeah, but this is what we do on this show, man. Everything is a part of it. We love when these listeners come in and chime in. It's awesome when it happens. But okay, Flex. I was looking at something about this series tonight, and the Suns kind of remind me. And tell me if I could be way off, but I can at the same time could be right on. But they kind of remind me of that 2011 Dallas Mavericks team that won the championship.
Yeah,
they kind of remind me of that team a little bit, because that team, nobody expected that team to do anything that year. And then you look at the similarities with some of the players on that team. You have a superstar. Budding superstar that nobody really believed that he would actually win a championship, and that's between Dirk and Booker. Kind of, you can compare those two.
Yeah.
And then you look at a floor general that kept that team together, that keeps everybody under control. Jason Kidd was that. Now we have Chris Paul doing that. And then you look at also the guy, the veteran that comes in there that just knocks down the timely three when you need it, and timely shots, and gives you attitude and not afraid of anybody. And Jason Terry was that, and now Jay Crowder is that. So, and then you look at the wing guys. I mean, the wing guys can score and shut you down. And Sean Marion was that for Dallas, and of course, Bridges is that for us right now. And potentially, they could be facing a finals team on the Nets of another super team, which is what Dallas faced when they faced the Miami Heat. So it's like it feels the same, man. What do you think about that?
No. You know what's crazy is I had this talk with I've been saying two teams that this team reminds me of two teams.
Okay.
That first 2011 Dallas team, you nailed it.
Okay.
So Jason Kidd, Chris Paul, Booker. They had Taysom Chandler on that team. We got DA. There was a lot of similarities, man, on that basketball team. So, and then the dynamic of having to play a super team, it just makes a lot of sense, man.
Right.
It just feels very reminiscent. And not only that, I mean, I want to say, I don't know if I could be wrong here. I got to go back in the memory bank, but I think that Maverick team beat the Lakers in the playoffs that year.
Yeah, coming off a championship too. Yeah, they sure
so
did.
There's even some more similarities there. I think they had to go through the Lakers and put them to sleep early, and it was early too. I think it might have been first round. I got to go back.
It was first round.
But so there's definitely some similarities, and I'll tell you another team that this team reminds me of. It gives me a little bit of that Pistons vibe, man. Back in that early Pistons team, that Billups and Rip Hamilton and Tyshawn Prince and Ben Wallace. Like these were a bunch of guys that weren't expected to do much, but they're collectively what they brought to the table was much greater than any other team brought that season. And I don't think I shy away from that one a little bit because they didn't have a Booker, and they didn't have a CP, but the roles that they play compared to the way that we're playing right now is very reminiscent. They hung their hat on defense, and that's the thing that reminds me more of the Pistons team. This Suns team plays defense, man. It's the best Suns defensive team I've ever seen, and I've been following this basketball team since I was 10 years old. I'm 41. 30 years, man. This is the best defensive Suns team I've ever seen. So, but yeah, man, it's fun, man. I what's the crazy thing, guys, and Sean, I wonder what you guys think about this. Like, does it feel? This run is feeling very weird. It's just feeling weird to me. Like the Suns are about to sweep the Nuggets and go to the Western Conference Finals, and it just feels like. Okay, we're supposed to do that. We're not going to have a parade. We're not running around like we're in the conference finals.
Right.
It's just a weird feeling, man. It just doesn't feel like it's really happening, but it is. And it doesn't feel like it's affecting this basketball team. But they're just going out there and going to work. Like you see Devin Booker in press conferences, man. You don't know if you're up 3-0 or 2 or down 3-0.
Yeah,
up 3-0 or down 3-0, right? The guy's just even keel.
That's right.
So to be 24, that's scary, man. It's scary stuff, man. This team is definitely on a mission, though.
So Sean, give me the team that going forward. I mean, there's only 2 series left. Should we continue to keep playing? Which teams would you rather see going? I mean, it really doesn't matter because if you play defense, you'll be in any series regardless. But that Clippers and Jazz series is what I'm mainly looking at. Which of those 2 teams do you think matchups the best that you would rather see the Suns play in that, going forward?
I think that I'd rather like the Jazz because I feel like we can neutralize what they do because I think we do what they do better.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because the Clippers, you don't know what you're going to get with Paul George at any given game in the playoffs because one day he has, it's playoff P, and then the next 3 games, it's like the dude vanished. You just don't know. I'd rather not test that area at all, especially with Kawhi, the way he plays defense. I'd rather have the Jazz, I think, because you can have Aiden and you can have I just lost his name, Gobert. They can kind of clash and do their own thing, and then you've got Book and Mitchell, and then that leaves CP3 to kind of do what he does. I think that helps this Suns team a whole lot more. Not to mention all of our other players that are role players. I mean, Bridges has just shined in this series to me. I love that each series as these Suns go, they're growing, and you don't know what you're going to get until you're in that series and down at least 0-1.
Right. That's a good point. My man here on the listeners here, before I get to you, Flex, real quick, my man Troy Baker here says he has to go with the Clippers because it's a good point. We get home court. That's a damn good point because those crowds have been the difference in these playoffs so far. I know the Suns are doing what they're doing, but you throw that crowd in with
opening because of us.
They're
opening because of our crowd.
That's a good point that Troy's saying on there. I mean, the home court is making a difference now because, you know, last year, of course, there was no crowd. We had all these, you know, cutouts and cardboard and all that, trying to throw sound in. And now it's part of the game again. And you're seeing teams get blown out that shouldn't be getting blown out. I mean, the Bucks blown out by 49 points because of the crowd going crazy and just that momentum just builds and builds and builds. So what do you think, Flex? Who would you rather see? I think I already know what you would say.
My man Ryan nailed it. I mean, Sean, make great points. I mean, listen, you're gonna get one of them, and there's issues with both of them, right?
Right.
I want the Clippers. And I'm gonna tell you why I want the Clippers. And again, this isn't necessarily disagreeing with Sean. I think he nailed it. I think Book is greater than Mitchell, CP's greater than Conley, and Ayton's greater than Gobert. The problem I worry about the Jazz is I think they're deeper than the Clippers. Honestly, you got two guys. Could have won 6 Man a year coming off the bench, Joe Ingles and Clarkson. So those guys are like two more starters. So that's 7 deep. And then you add in, another guy like Bogdanovich, and they're pretty deep, man. They go 8-9 deep every night, and you pack that arena with 19,000 people, and you lose your home court. There's a reason why they had the best record in basketball. So I worry that if you got to go to Utah early for 2 games, you have to get one of those. You don't want this young team to come back to Phoenix down 0-2. That might be the end of it. So at least with the Clippers, you get 2 home games. You don't know what you're getting from PG and Kawhi, but I like my chances with Nick Batum and Reggie Jackson and some of these other guys. You know, I like my chances with those guys. Rondo's not even seeing the court right now.
Yeah,
he hasn't played in 3 games. So
they waiting for our series. They're waiting for our series to play Rondo because Rondo tried to play those mind games with us, and you know how that goes with Paul George and the mind games, and they try to play all that bully ball with us and all that. So they figure they got our number, and Rondo's the guy that they think is the catalyst that has our number. But my man over here, Troy, is killing it tonight. He said L.A. has no crowd, and that's so true. So that would be part of the equation too, because that lazy ass L.A. crowd, they don't get up for nothing, and they definitely ain't gonna get up for no Clippers because they don't even respect the Clippers in that dang town. So
and they just finished watching the Suns beat down on the Lakers. So
hey, we got to bring my man Troy into the podcast to start talking some of these points because he hitting it. But
you better wear a suit. I'm just saying.
So, Flex, going forward, you get past the Jazz or the Clippers regardless. Is it a wash at the East? Because the Nets are kind of beat up. They're going to be coming in kind of, limping in. And their style of play that's ISO ball, superstar plays, superstar ISO ball. I don't care who you are superstar-wise. You can't beat a team by yourself. So, if a team's coming in playing the way they play, do you see that if we get the Nets come in and that's the matchup, is that the last team in this whole playoffs that could really stop this Suns team 4 games out of 7?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I've been saying it for a minute. I've always felt like the Nets and Suns were on a collision course, and I put out a tweet yesterday. The NBA wants it. I mean, the NBA wants it. The storylines are unbelievable,
crazy.
Guys.
Yeah,
like you're talking about CP versus Lob City, CP versus Harden and D'Antoni.
Steve Nash
the
versus
old
the
Suns
Suns
versus the new Suns. Nash, Amari, and D'Antoni. KD, Kyrie, Amari. Ayton, Booker. Ayton, Booker, and Bridges all being drafted in that Brooklyn arena. Like it's so many things, bro. But again, to answer your question, that team's not healthy. Earl, they're not healthy. Like Kyrie's injury might be serious.
Yeah, he might never been healthy.
Has a torn hamstring.
Did you see that injury, man? I know you saw it.
No, I saw it.
Man,
his
ankle looked like he was forming an L for that loss. He was forming it on his leg, on his ankle. It just turned completely the other way. I like, man.
Earl, it's a bad end. Listen, I got people I know out in Brooklyn, and X-rays were negative, and that came out. But he's got to do an MRI. They fear there could be ligament tears in there. And I'm telling you right now, that's not going to end up well. That's not going to end well. And I said this before the playoffs started. James Harden has a tear in his hamstring, guys.
That's right.
And,
that
and
could go
game
at
one,
any time.
Elevated game. I said that on one of our pods right before even playoffs started. I said James Harden ain't gonna last.
Right.
I know from sources he's playing on a torn hamstring, and he went up and 2 minutes into the game, popped it again. So you're talking about two guys. If it's Brooklyn and that triage, we're going to take care of business. And I just don't think there's any other team I'm worried about. I will beat Milwaukee, Atlanta, or Philly in 6 games. But if it's Brooklyn healthy, it's going to be a dogfight. But if it's these guys coming on injuries, man, we might be looking at a parade in like 120 degrees out there in Arizona, man.
That's what
Troy better bring his tank top, though, if that happens.
And this... He's stupid. And this is the perfect time to do it, man. This is the perfect time to do it. This is an opportunity that I don't think you'll ever see again. The NBA has been a toss it up. Who's ever healthy down the stretch and ever takes care of their body, whoever's, that's going to be the team that's going to come through this thing.
Hasn't been that way in 10 years.
Yeah, and it's like usually you come into the season, okay, LeBron's going to win it, or Golden State's going to win. Who's going to stop? You already know who's going to be the victor is, but this is a toss up. This is the opportunity of a lifetime to get us. And as a matter of fact, maybe 4 or 5 of the teams that are left in this whole thing would be their first championship, be the only championship they ever won. They need the teams that win. Jazz. Y'all can name the teams. Y'all know the teams.
Denver, Phoenix. That Jazz, Denver, Phoenix never won.
Somebody's going to win their first championship.
Yeah, and you're talking about Philly won in '83, and you're talking about Milwaukee won in '71. That's it. That's it.
Right.
So Milwaukee and Atlanta won in like '58. So you got 3 teams that haven't won in like 100 years.
Right.
And you got 3 teams that never won. So
right.
Somebody's going to win a championship.
Somebody's going to win their first championship in a long time, or their first franchise ever organization championship. Man, that's gonna be crazy. And so that throws out that experience thing that thing we played earlier before the playoffs start. Who's gonna have the experience, and Suns not having experience, blah blah blah. That's out the window. So it's time to go get it now. So this is crazy. But before we get out of here, man, Flex, I appreciate you calling in, and before we get out of here, of course. You already got the Suns winning tonight, but when does the quit start in this game tonight? Do the Nuggets last 4 quarters and make this tight, or is this thing going to be over by halftime?
6 minutes, man.
6
minutes. And I'm being serious. No, I'm being serious. I'm saying we're gonna know the outcome of this game in 6 minutes.
Okay.
I'm telling you. I mean, this is just what I'm saying.
Okay.
6 minutes into the first quarter, you're gonna look at the score, and if the Nuggets are hanging in there through 6 minutes, or better yet, let me say this. I want to rephrase this. In the first 6 minutes of this basketball game, if the Nuggets don't have control of this game significantly, I'm talking about 10, 15-point lead in the first 6 minutes, they're going home packing.
Right.
If the Suns are within any striking distance 6 minutes into this ball game, all their confidence is deflated. They're coming in with a new lineup, and they're expecting that lineup to give them a bang.
Right.
And if they just flatten out, the Suns are just going to wear them out bigger, stronger, faster, and it'll be over. It'll be over pretty quick. If the Nuggets come out quick though, 6 minutes, man, I'm telling you, look at the game at the 6 minute mark, and if it's close, Phoenix is bringing it home.
Yeah, there hasn't been a game. We hadn't been up 20 yet. So I mean, what's going to stop that? So Sean, what do you think? I mean. As far as what the outcome is going to be,
I think the Nuggets give up 30 seconds into the second half. They come out of the tunnel, they got all the adjustments down, and then we just hit a 3 in their face, and all right, we're done. That's it. It's over.
And that's been how it's gone. The third quarter. I mean, we beat them up in the first. The last game just got rid of them.
The third quarter.
Third quarter has been like just shut them down, because everything they try to do, we answered with a run of 8 to 10 or 8. We just hit them with a run, and they just quit, and it just feels like that. So I don't see anything else outside of Jokic scoring an 80 spot tonight. Because who's gonna make up? Who's gonna make up all those points, man? Those dudes just not. And one disappointment. Aaron Gordon has been very disappointing in this whole thing, man. I thought he was the key guy that was gonna really give us some issues and problems in this series, and he did in game 1 a little bit, and it didn't make a difference at all. And so he kind of, you see, he's playoff shell shock. because he ain't been there. He don't know what it feels like to, go through something that big. So he just really disappointed. But other than that, yeah, it's going to be another 20-point blowout. I got a feeling it's going to be over probably by halftime. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, E, man, you just said it. Like, it's like a war of attrition, right? It's a war of attrition right now. Whoever wins this championship. It's like NFL football, man. Like, whoever's healthiest at the end is usually who wins the title and gets the continuity and all that stuff. So, yeah, man, I mean, the Suns know that they can get 7 to 10 days of rest while everybody else is still taking live bullets. Right. I mean, that's the facts, man. Right. I think this is the game where we're going to look back and say, man, if the Suns win a championship, you're going to look back at this game and be like, man, it was probably because of them closing out them in 4
right.
More than anything. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to a good game.
One thing I'm going to say before we get out of here is the teams that are left in the West, of those 3 teams that are left in the West, I like the Suns' chances of being up against either of those teams because the Jazz and Clippers both shoot way too many damn 3-point. They rely on that 3-pointer. And I kept saying this from day one. The 3-pointer can only take you so damn far. You're going to live by it. You are definitely going to die by it at some point. You are not winning a championship, gunning up 45 to 50 freaking threes in one game, in a playoff game, of all things. And if a team can play defense the way the Suns play defense, that's why I don't see those 2 teams left in the West. They'll put up a fight because your shooting's going to be good on one night at least, 2 nights at least, but it's not going to carry you through a 7-game series. Yep. So
4 times,
exactly. And so our style of play, I mean, we can play any style, and we can do that 3-ball stuff too, but I want our 3 balls to be coming off of where it's been coming off of, feeding off CP3, find that open 3. And that's what's been killing all these teams is our style of play. And so I look at that team, and even the Nets are 3-point happy because they got superstars. We can just shoot threes all damn day. I just don't see that 3-point shooting team winning a championship. So I like our chances, man. I like our chances.
For sure. Hey, you nailed it, brother. Hey, Monty Williams, that's how he coaches.
I know.
He coaches defend the 3 lines. Defend the 3 lines. Run them off the threes. Don't give them threes. Like you play D and don't give up threes, and you're gonna win.
And that's
how they coach.
Yeah, isn't that so Greg Popovich?
That's Greg Popovich all day. No, it's crazy, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, this team is constructed top to bottom. James Jones is on the phone every day with Pat Riley, bro. like I'm telling you guys, the team is well put together right now, man. You got the GM talking to one of the greatest guys daily about how to handle this team on this run. You got Monty talking to Popovich. You got these guys in the locker room all falling in line, believing every word, man, not getting happy on the farm. Everything you want is on the other side of hard. Like, these guys are bought in, bro. Right. They are bought in, and this is a scary team to be messing with right now. So it's good stuff, guys.
Yeah, good stuff, guys. I appreciate you guys coming in, and listeners and the people chiming in. Thanks again. You guys make the show, and we gonna see the Suns go ahead and get this week off, man, and let's go ahead and do this thing. This has been the Bleav the Phoenix Suns podcast. Earl Burnett, Sean McConnell, and my man Flex from Jersey. We'll see y'all next time. Enjoy the game. Peace out.
Yeah.
Peace out, guys.
The emphatic follow down and goes for 8. Big guys. Don't worry about it. Bridges picks the pocket with a thunderous left hand. Booker racing to the rack. Scoops and forward. From far away. Booker drills it. Think about it.
Oh, no, he did. Chris Paul, that's not right. CP3, stop it.